welcome to Relish Books. So I realized in the last video that I did, I mentioned Jules Verne, and I have not done any videos on him. So I thought I would do one today. It's not going to be super long because I have actually only read 3 Jules Verne novels. So growing up, for some reason, I think maybe because we only had like 5 of them, I had it in my mind that there only were like 5 big Jules Verne novels, that he was like a famous author, but he hadn't written that much. And I didn't really know, like, until a few years ago, I remember I knew that there were more than that. But I was looking at his work, thinking about doing this video, and he has a ton of books. And I'm ashamed that I've only read 3 because I really, really love his work that I have read. So yeah, I definitely want to read more of his stuff. And if anybody has favorites to suggest, I would love that. So Jules Verne lived from 1828 to 1905. And he might be best known, maybe, I'm not sure. If I had to guess, I would say his best known work is Around the World in 80 Days. But the first book of his that I read was 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. And I've talked a lot before about how sometimes you read a book that that you're just at the right stage and time of life for, or you're just in the right mood. And it must have been that way for me. I would still love the book, I'm sure, if I read it now. But something about it at the time, that book was magical to me. I loved it, and it took me into the story in a way that few books have really done, where I just felt like I was there. I felt like I was experiencing all of this whole other super strange world that I was really living it, and I loved it. I clearly remember sitting and just reading it. I loved it, and since I loved it so much, I'm surprised that I didn't seek out more of his work. But yeah, loved 20,000 Leagues. And then it was probably a good while later, I read The Mysterious Island, which I also loved. I loved that it was totally different. My brother got it. He was super excited about it. He read it and loved it, and he was like, it's the sequel to 20,000 Leagues. It's like all exciting. It's like a sequel, but I'm reading it, and it's like there's nothing in it to make you think that it's a sequel until it's still super enjoyable though, but has nothing to do with 20,000 Leagues. Until the end, which by that point it's a really big book, and by that point it almost feels like this, even though I knew it was somehow connected, it almost feels like this Easter egg. It's like this almost like this secret connection to the other book, even though it is quite important in the end. But I loved both of those. Mysterious Island, I think, is in a great contrast. I talked about in my last video how I really do not like Robinson Crusoe, but if you like survival books and making stuff from nothing and all that kind of stuff, Mysterious Island for me is the ultimate book of that. Way better than Robinson Crusoe. It's so much fun. It's so neat. It's exciting. Jules Verne's writing is so crisp. He's so exact, and even stuff that maybe wouldn't work, he makes it sound like it would work. He's very, for lack of a better term, he's very sciencey. Maybe he's not always right, but it's convincing enough in the book. Makes him sound very smart. And yeah, his writing is just complex, but simply complex, if that makes sense. His writing is clear and distinct. Even when complicated things are happening, you always see it, and you know what's going on. And I love that. You don't get lost in any of it, even when it gets down to the little details. Super clear, distinct, precise. He is a masterful writer. And then Around the World in 80 Days. I don't know why I hadn't read this before. Something about it, I just didn't want to read it. I'd always heard about it so much, and I just had no interest in reading it for whatever reason. And then one day I picked it up. My mom had like a box of books she was selling or something, and it was just like this paperback copy that I happened to pick up and look at, and then I like sat down on the stairs and read the whole thing in one day. It is so much fun. I love it when you pick up a book. Sometimes a book is like really meaningful, sometimes it takes you into it, and sometimes it's just so fun. I love it when you just have a great time reading a book. I believe Phileas Fogg is one of the greatest literary characters in all of fiction. He is just such a distinct character. He's not like probably super realistic. He's a caricature, which is a lot of the time that's what makes literary characters so much so interesting and so fun. He's a tremendous character, and the other characters balance him out perfectly. My only complaint about the book is really that it doesn't go on longer. It's short. But yeah, super, super fun book. Just not anything too deep or anything. It's just really fun to read. So yeah, those are the 3 Jules Verne books that I've read so far. I know they're some of the most famous ones. That's because most of his other stuff I wasn't as aware of. So I do want to read more of his stuff. I remember I tried to read Journey to the Center of the Earth around the time that I was reading some of his other books, and that one just didn't appeal to me. I got stuck. Just like, I didn't make it far into that one, but I should give it another try. I feel like maybe his books can be a little tedious, I guess. Maybe if you're not fully in the mood for them, so maybe they just need like a little time in between them. But I really want to read more of his stuff now. I was looking online at this massive list of books that I didn't know about. One of the names that caught my attention was The Lighthouse at the End of the World. That's like a great title. Sounds really good. So yeah, love Jules Verne. He's an amazing author, and I am definitely wanting to read more of his work soon. So thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye.